In late October of 2013, MCH Strategic Data hosted early childhood thought leaders at a conference in Kansas City, where they discussed trends, state and federal legislation, challenges, and emerging market opportunities.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Michael J. I have been asked here by John and the other members of the team at MCH to help moderate this panel. And what I'd like to do is have each of the panelists introduce themselves.
I'm Karen Rogest, and I'm a freelance writer and editor and researcher. And I just completed a report for Simba Information on the pre-K market and the sale of instructional materials into that market. The main segments of the market in terms of where instructional materials providers are targeting their efforts is first the state-funded programs, which is there are 40 states that fund pre-K programs in their states. This is the fastest growing segment of the market in terms of enrollment funding over the last decade, and also in terms of interest on the part of a lot of the vendors. The second part is the Head Start, and this has been fairly flat with enrollment over the last decade, but it's a real big part, an important part of the market, and well established since the 1960s. There's a lot of overlaps in terms of these different segments. They're not really discrete segments. They all have funding coming from various sources, and they have different ways of measuring and different methodologies of how they measure their funding and enrollment. You have the school districts that are part of the state-funded program. In a lot of cases, they will subcontract to other groups to provide that. Mm-hmm. And so it may be a Head Start location, but it might be a private location.
I'm Suzanne Thuvenel, and I currently work with the Office of Head Start on designing products and web-based materials for the Head Start Early Childhood Learning and Knowledge Center.
Many of you may know Head Start began in 1965 as a summer program. Since 1965, over 30 million children and families have gone through and been impacted by Head Start programs.
Every Head Start program is required to provide 25%, a quarter of its funding, in terms of a non-federal share. Some programs fund up to 50% from local dollars. Head Start is a comprehensive child care program with education, social services, health, dental and medical screenings. Head Start doesn't charge families for preschool services. This includes fostering parents' understanding of their role in the child's education and school readiness.
Most are 4 years old, 3 years old, and then only 1% were pregnant women. Early Head Start only serves 4% of eligible children.
I'm Dr. Roger S. Billings with Care Connectors, Inc. Care Connectors, Inc. is a nationwide child care and elder care resource and referral service. We've been around for 26 years, and we cater to the EAP market, employee assistance firms, programs, work life. They use our database to help their employees. 32 million kids are in some type of child care. 98% of the market, they take care of children in their own home. Family daycare homes range in size from as little as 4 to 8 is considered kind of a small home, and then from 10 to 16 children is a group home. Just because a place has a license doesn't mean they're up to snuff and doing all that they can do for kids. They want every family daycare provider to have a license. Okay, first of all, they want every family daycare provider to have a high school diploma. Only 88% of our family daycare providers get a background check. They're pushing for legislation to change that. Everybody in the house gets a background check. 40 hours of training. Who's going to do that training? Complete 24 hours of annual training. That means refresher training. That means every year, every family daycare provider must get 24 hours of refresher training. They must have toys. They must offer learning opportunities in 8 domains. They want every single home inspected, I think, quarterly. So if you were going to approach states, I would go to the states that have the highest ranking, because they're into this stuff right now. They need these materials right now.
My name is Mike Wilson. I founded Wilson Marketing Group, which is a little company that developed the first commercial database for the preschool market. State funding is normalizing somewhat. It was up 3.2% for the 2012-2013 year. About 23 states plus DC increased their pre-K, 8 level funded, and 8 made cuts. I'm hoping that the Child Care Development Block Grant will go someplace. This is a truly bipartisan, masterful, effective, but far from perfect piece of social legislation.
During the conference, our panelists provided their 10-year predictions. One of these predictions was that Head Start would begin to be involved earlier in a child's life. On November 13th, barely 3 weeks after the conference, the Strong Start for America's Children Act of 2013 was introduced. Today, only less than 5% of children eligible for early Head Start are served. With this legislation, the number of children receiving these services during President Obama's administration will triple. The future is happening now.